Welcome to Wisdom Audiobooks. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly achieve success, happiness, and fulfillment, while others struggle despite their efforts? The answer lies in mastering yourself. In this audiobook, I will guide you through the transformative journey of self-mastery, empowering you to take control of your life and unlock your true potential. As Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. Let's begin this journey together and discover how mastering yourself can lead to mastering your life. Introduction. The audiobook Master Yourself and You Will Master Your Life is written and published by Wisdom Audiobooks. Life can feel overwhelming when you're constantly battling stress, self-doubt, and uncertainty. Many of us struggle to find balance, build discipline, or overcome setbacks. Whether you're a young adult searching for direction, a busy professional juggling responsibilities, or someone navigating a major life transition, this audiobook addresses those challenges head-on. For example, imagine waking up every day feeling like you're running on autopilot, reacting to circumstances instead of shaping them. Or perhaps you've set goals only to find yourself giving up when things get tough. These are common struggles, and you're not alone. I understand how hard it is to stay motivated when things don't go as planned. I've been there too. There were times when I felt lost, overwhelmed, and unsure of my next steps. But through self-mastery, I discovered that the answers lie within us. It's about taking small, consistent actions that compound over time to create profound change. As Nelson Mandela wisely said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." This audiobook is here to remind you that no matter where you are right now, transformation is possible. In this audiobook, you'll learn practical strategies to master your emotions, habits, and mindset. You'll discover how to overcome obstacles, build resilience, and design a life aligned with your values. Each chapter is crafted to provide actionable insights that you can immediately apply to transform your life. By listening to the end, you'll gain clarity on your purpose, develop tools to navigate challenges, and unlock the confidence to pursue your dreams. This isn't just another self-help audiobook, it's a roadmap to help you live intentionally and authentically. So, whether you're seeking personal growth, professional success, or inner peace, this audiobook is designed to support you every step of the way. Your wisdom journey starts here. Chapter 1: Understanding Self-Mastery. Before you can master your life, you must first understand what self-mastery truly means. In this chapter, we'll explore its core principles and why it's the foundation of success and happiness. Self-mastery is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's the ability to take control of your thoughts, emotions, and actions so that you can live intentionally rather than reactively. As James Allen, the author of As a Man Thinketh, once said, "The soul attracts that which it secretly harbors." This means your inner world shapes your outer reality. By mastering yourself, you gain the power to shape your destiny. In the next few minutes, I'll break down the key pillars of self-mastery, emotional regulation, discipline, and mindset, and show you how they work together to create lasting change. Let's dive in. 1. What is self-mastery? Definition: the ability to control your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Self-mastery is the art of being in charge of your own mind and behavior. It's about cultivating awareness of your thoughts, managing your emotions effectively, and taking deliberate actions that align with your goals and values. Think of it like driving a car. Without mastery, you're at the mercy of external forces, other drivers, weather conditions, or even mechanical failures. But when you learn to drive skillfully, you navigate confidently, no matter what challenges arise. Similarly, self-mastery gives you the tools to steer your life in the direction you desire. One of my favorite stories that illustrates this concept comes from the life of Thomas Edison. When his laboratory burned down in 1914, destroying years of research and equipment worth millions, most people would have given up. But instead of succumbing to despair, Edison famously said, "Although I am over 67 years old, I'll start all over again tomorrow." His ability to regulate his emotions, maintain focus, and take decisive action exemplifies true self-mastery. Why it matters: living intentionally versus reactively. Without self-mastery, we often find ourselves reacting to life's circumstances instead of creating them. For instance, have you ever snapped at someone during a stressful day, only to regret it later? Or perhaps you've procrastinated on an important task because you felt overwhelmed. These are signs that you're operating on autopilot, allowing external events to dictate your behavior. Self-mastery flips the script. It empowers you to pause, reflect, and choose how you respond. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, captured this idea beautifully in his book Man's Search for Meaning. He wrote, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. That space is where self-mastery happens. When you master yourself, you stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the architect of your life. You make decisions based on long-term vision rather than short-term impulses. And as a result, you experience greater clarity, confidence, and fulfillment." 2. Key pillars of self-mastery. Emotional regulation. Managing feelings effectively. The first pillar of self-mastery is emotional regulation, the ability to manage your feelings so they don't control you. Emotions are powerful, but they're also fleeting. If you let anger, fear, or frustration dictate your actions, you'll often regret the consequences. For example, imagine receiving critical feedback at work. Without emotional regulation, you might feel defensive and lash out, damaging relationships and stalling your growth. But with self-mastery, you can acknowledge your initial reaction, process it calmly, and use the feedback constructively to improve. One technique I recommend for emotional regulation is mindfulness. Mindfulness involves observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Neuroscience shows that regular mindfulness practice actually rewires your brain, strengthening areas responsible for emotional control. A great example of emotional regulation comes from Abraham Lincoln. Known for his calm demeanor even in the face of immense pressure, Lincoln often wrote hot letters to express his frustrations, but he never sent them. Instead, he used writing as a way to process his emotions and regain composure before addressing the issue directly. Discipline, building consistent habits. The second pillar of self-mastery is discipline, the ability to stick to your commitments, even when motivation wanes. Discipline is what separates dreamers from achievers. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling, who wrote the first Harry Potter book while living on welfare and raising her daughter alone. She didn't wait for inspiration to strike. She showed up every day, disciplined herself to write, and eventually became one of the most successful authors in history. Building discipline starts with small, consistent actions. Research shows that habits account for nearly 40% of our daily behaviors. By designing routines that support your goals, you create momentum that carries you forward. Here's a simple strategy. Start with one habit that aligns with your biggest priority right now. For example, if health is a focus, commit to drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning. Once that becomes automatic, layer on another habit, such as stretching for 5 minutes. Over time, these small changes compound into significant results. 3. Mindset, cultivating a growth-oriented perspective. Fixed versus growth mindset. The third pillar of self-mastery is mindset, the lens through which you view challenges, setbacks, and opportunities. Psychologist Carol Dweck introduced the concept of fixed versus growth mindsets in her groundbreaking book Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. A fixed mindset assumes that your abilities are static. You're either good at something or you're not. This belief often leads to fear of failure and avoidance of challenges. On the other hand, a growth mindset embraces effort and learning. It views failures as stepping stones to success and sees challenges as opportunities to grow. Let me share a story about Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Did you know he was cut from his high school basketball team? Instead of giving up, Jordan used that rejection as fuel to work harder. He famously said, "I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." His growth mindset allowed him to turn setbacks into comebacks. Practical ways to cultivate a growth mindset. Cultivating a growth mindset requires intentional effort. Here are some strategies to help you shift your perspective, 1. Reframe failure. Instead of seeing failure as the end, view it as feedback. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? For example, if you didn't get the promotion you wanted, analyze what skills you need to develop and create a plan to improve. 2. Embrace challenges. Step out of your comfort zone regularly. Whether it's learning a new skill, taking on a difficult project, or having tough conversations, growth happens when you push beyond what feels safe. 3. Seek feedback. Constructive criticism is a goldmine for improvement. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow and listen to their input with an open mind. 4. Celebrate effort over outcome. Focus on the process rather than the result. For instance, if you're learning a new language, celebrate the hours you've practiced instead of worrying about fluency right away. This mindset shift keeps you motivated and resilient. 5. Surround yourself with growth-oriented people. The people you spend time with influence your mindset. Seek out mentors, friends, or communities that inspire you to grow and challenge your limits. As motivational speaker Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." For example, consider the story of Oprah Winfrey. Early in her career, she faced numerous rejections and criticisms. But instead of letting negativity define her, she surrounded herself with supportive mentors and peers who believed in her potential. Their encouragement helped her develop a growth mindset, which ultimately propelled her to become one of the most influential figures in media. Why a growth mindset is essential for self-mastery. A growth mindset is the foundation of self-mastery because it allows you to embrace challenges and persist through difficulties. It transforms obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into lessons. When you view life as a journey of continuous learning, you unlock your ability to adapt, evolve, and thrive. Remember, self-mastery isn't about being perfect, it's about being better than you were yesterday. And a growth mindset ensures that you're always moving forward, no matter how small the steps may seem. 4. Benefits of mastering yourself. Increased confidence and clarity. One of the most immediate benefits of self-mastery is increased confidence. When you take control of your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you stop second-guessing yourself. You trust your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. Clarity also emerges as you gain a deeper understanding of your values, strengths, and priorities. For instance, many people feel stuck because they haven't defined what truly matters to them. But when you master yourself, you align your daily choices with your long-term vision. This sense of purpose gives you direction and motivation, better decision-making and resilience. Self-mastery equips you with the tools to make smarter decisions. Instead of reacting impulsively, you pause, reflect, and choose the best course of action. This skill is especially valuable during high-pressure situations. Additionally, self-mastery builds resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity. Life is unpredictable, but when you've mastered your emotions and mindset, you can face challenges with courage and grace. Take the example of Malala Yousafzai, the youngest Nobel laureate. Despite facing violence and threats for advocating girls' education, she remained steadfast in her mission. Her unwavering resilience stems from her mastery over fear and her commitment to her cause. She once said, "When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful." Improved relationships and overall well-being. When you master yourself, your relationships naturally improve. Emotional regulation helps you communicate more effectively, resolve conflicts peacefully, and show empathy toward others. Discipline ensures that you honor your commitments, earning trust and respect. Moreover, self-mastery enhances your overall well-being. By prioritizing habits that support your physical, mental, and emotional health, you create a balanced and fulfilling life. Studies show that individuals who practice self-discipline report higher levels of happiness and lower levels of stress. Unlocking your true potential. Ultimately, mastering yourself unlocks your true potential. It empowers you to live authentically, pursue your dreams, and contribute meaningfully to the world. As Bruce Lee once said, "Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own." Self-mastery allows you to curate a life that reflects your unique strengths and passions. Chapter 2: Overcoming Challenges and Building Resilience. Life is full of challenges, but they don't have to define you. In this chapter, we'll explore how to face adversity with courage and turn obstacles into opportunities. Challenges are inevitable, whether it's fear of failure, procrastination, or self-doubt. But here's the good news: every challenge is an invitation to grow stronger. As Helen Keller once said, "Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it." In the next few minutes, I'll guide you through identifying common obstacles, reframing negative thoughts, and developing resilience. These tools will empower you to navigate life's ups and downs with confidence and grace. Let's begin. 1. Identifying common obstacles. Fear of failure, the silent dream killer. One of the most common obstacles people face is the fear of failure. It whispers doubts into your mind, convincing you that trying is too risky. But here's the truth: failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of the process. Consider the story of Walt Disney. Before creating Disneyland, he faced numerous rejections from banks and investors who thought his idea was unrealistic. Yet he persisted, driven by his vision. Today, his name is synonymous with creativity and innovation. To overcome the fear of failure, start by reframing it. Instead of seeing failure as a reflection of your worth, view it as feedback. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? This simple shift in perspective can transform fear into fuel for growth. Procrastination, the thief of time. Another obstacle is procrastination, the habit of delaying tasks despite knowing their importance. Procrastination often stems from perfectionism or overwhelm. You might think, "I'll do it later when I feel more prepared." But later never comes. A powerful antidote to procrastination is breaking tasks into smaller, manageable steps. For example, if you're writing a book, focus on completing one paragraph instead of the entire chapter. Celebrate small wins along the way to build momentum. Self-doubt, the inner critic. Self-doubt is perhaps the most insidious obstacle. It tells you that you're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. But remember, even the most successful people battle self-doubt at times. Take Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis players of all time. Despite her achievements, she has openly spoken about struggling with self-doubt early in her career. What set her apart was her ability to push through those doubts and focus on her strengths. To silence your inner critic, practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend. Remind yourself of past successes and affirm your ability to overcome current challenges. Underscore 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 underscore. 2. Strategies for overcoming challenges. Reframing negative thoughts. The first step in overcoming challenges is learning to reframe negative thoughts. Our minds tend to exaggerate problems, making them seem bigger than they are. For instance, if you're preparing for a presentation, you might think, "What if I mess up?" Instead, reframe it as, "Even if I make a mistake, I'll learn and improve for next time." A helpful technique is cognitive restructuring, a method used in psychology to challenge and replace unhelpful thoughts. Start by identifying the negative thought, questioning its validity, and replacing it with a positive or realistic alternative. Breaking big problems into smaller steps. Big challenges can feel overwhelming, but breaking them into smaller steps makes them manageable. For example, if you're transitioning to a new career, start by researching potential fields, then update your resume, and finally reach out to contacts in your desired industry. Each small step builds confidence and moves you closer to your goal. This approach is supported by research in behavioral psychology, which shows that incremental progress boosts motivation and reduces anxiety. Learning from failures instead of fearing them. Failures are not dead ends, they're detours leading to better paths. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His persistence highlights the importance of viewing failures as experiments rather than judgments of your abilities. To learn from failures, conduct a failure analysis. Ask yourself, what went wrong? What could I have done differently? What lessons can I apply moving forward? This reflective practice turns setbacks into stepping stones for future success. 3. Building resilience through practice. Developing mental toughness through daily affirmations. Resilience is not something you're born with, it's a skill you can cultivate through consistent practice. One powerful way to build resilience is through daily affirmations. These are positive statements that reinforce your belief in yourself and your ability to overcome challenges. For example, instead of saying, "I can't handle this," try affirming, "I am capable of handling whatever comes my way." Repeating these affirmations daily rewires your brain to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. Research shows that affirmations activate the brain's reward centers, boosting confidence and reducing stress. To make affirmations effective, ensure they are specific, positive, and present tense. For instance, "I am confident in my ability to solve problems," is more impactful than "I will be confident someday." Visualization, seeing success before it happens. Another tool for building resilience is visualization, the practice of mentally rehearsing success. Athletes often use this technique to enhance performance. By vividly imagining themselves crossing the finish line or scoring the winning goal, they program their minds for success. You can apply visualization to any area of life. For example, if you're preparing for a job interview, visualize yourself answering questions confidently and leaving a lasting impression. This mental rehearsal reduces anxiety and increases your chances of success. A great example of visualization comes from Jim Carrey, the famous actor and comedian. Early in his career, he wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and dated it for 5 years in the future. He carried this check in his wallet as a reminder of his goal. By visualizing his success daily, he manifested it into reality. Surrounding yourself with supportive people. Resilience is not built in isolation, it's strengthened by the people around you. Surround yourself with individuals who uplift, inspire, and challenge you to grow. Their encouragement can help you stay motivated during tough times. For instance, consider the story of Nelson Mandela. During his 27 years in prison, he drew strength from fellow prisoners who shared his vision of freedom and equality. Their camaraderie fueled his resilience and kept his spirit alive. To build a supportive network, seek out mentors, join communities aligned with your goals, or simply spend time with friends who believe in your potential. As motivational speaker Zig Ziglar said, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." Surround yourself with people who remind you of this truth. 4. A short, inspiring story, the power of persistence. Let me share a story about Colonel Harlan Sanders, the founder of KFC. At the age of 65, after running a small restaurant for years, he found himself broke and struggling to make ends meet. Determined to share his secret recipe for fried chicken, he traveled across the United States, pitching his idea to restaurant owners. But here's the catch. He faced rejection over 1,000 times before someone finally agreed to partner with him. Imagine the courage it took to keep going despite such overwhelming odds. Yet, Sanders persisted because he believed in his dream. Today, KFC is one of the largest fast food chains in the world, serving millions of customers daily. Sanders' story teaches us that persistence is key to overcoming challenges. Success rarely comes overnight. It's the result of relentless effort and unwavering faith in your vision. This story reminds me of a quote by Calvin Coolidge. "Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent." When you face obstacles, remember Colonel Sanders. Let his journey inspire you to keep pushing forward, no matter how many times you stumble. 5. Recap and transition to the next chapter. In this chapter, we've explored how to identify and overcome common challenges like fear of failure, procrastination, and self-doubt. We've also discussed strategies for reframing negative thoughts, breaking big problems into smaller steps, and learning from failures. Finally, we delved into building resilience through daily affirmations, visualization, and surrounding yourself with supportive people. Remember, challenges are not roadblocks, they're stepping stones to growth. Each obstacle you face is an opportunity to strengthen your resolve and deepen your self-mastery. As we move into the next chapter, we'll dive into mastering your habits and daily routine. You'll discover how small, consistent actions can compound over time to create profound change. Stay tuned, because the journey to mastering yourself continues. Chapter 3: Mastering Your Habits and Daily Routine. Habits shape your destiny. In this chapter, we'll explore how to design a routine that supports your goals and helps you stay disciplined. Small, consistent actions compound over time to create profound change. As Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. In the next few minutes, I'll guide you through the science of habits, practical strategies for creating effective routines, and tips for staying consistent with your goals. Let's dive in and take control of your daily life. 1. The science of habits. How habits are formed, the cue routine reward loop. At the core of every habit lies a simple neurological loop: cue, routine, and reward. This concept was popularized by Charles Duhigg in his book The Power of Habit. Here's how it works. Cue, a trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode. For example, feeling tired might cue you to grab a cup of coffee. Routine, the behavior itself, which can be physical, mental, or emotional. In this case, drinking coffee becomes the routine. Reward, the benefit you gain from the routine, such as increased energy or alertness. Understanding this loop is crucial because it allows you to identify and modify your habits. For instance, if you want to replace unhealthy snacking with healthier choices, you can keep the same cue, feeling hungry, and reward, satisfaction, but change the routine, eating fruit instead of chips. Why small changes lead to big results. One of the most powerful aspects of habits is their ability to compound over time. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, explains this beautifully. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. For example, consider reading just 10 pages of a book each day. At first, it may seem insignificant, but over a year, you'll have read 3,650 pages, equivalent to about 15 to 20 books. Small habits, when practiced consistently, lead to extraordinary outcomes. A great story that illustrates this principle comes from the life of Jerry Seinfeld. To improve his comedy writing, he committed to writing jokes every single day. He marked each day on a calendar with a red X, creating a chain of consistency. His only rule? Don't break the chain. This simple habit transformed him into one of the most successful comedians of all time. 2. Creating an effective morning routine. Waking up early and setting intentions for the day. Your morning sets the tone for the rest of your day. Waking up early gives you a head start, allowing you to focus on your priorities without distractions. To make waking up easier, establish a consistent sleep schedule and create a compelling reason to get out of bed. For example, instead of hitting snooze, remind yourself of your purpose. Today, I'm working toward your goal. Setting intentions is equally important. Spend the first few minutes of your day visualizing success and affirming your goals. For instance, you might say, I am focused, productive, and energized today. Incorporating mindfulness practices like meditation or journaling. Mindfulness practices like meditation and journaling can significantly enhance your morning routine. Meditation reduces stress, improves focus, and boosts emotional regulation. Start with just 5 to 10 minutes of deep breathing or guided meditation using apps like Headspace or Calm. Journaling, on the other hand, helps you clarify your thoughts and set priorities. A popular method is the 3 good things exercise. Write down 3 things you're grateful for and 3 tasks you want to accomplish today. Research shows that gratitude journaling increases happiness and motivation. Oprah Winfrey credits her success to her daily journaling practice. She says, "Journaling is a way for me to connect with my inner self and stay grounded. By incorporating mindfulness into your mornings, you cultivate a sense of calm and clarity that carries throughout your day, fueling your body and mind. What you eat and drink in the morning also impacts your energy and focus. Start with a glass of water to hydrate your body after a night's rest. Then, enjoy a balanced breakfast rich in protein, healthy fats, and fiber. For example, a smoothie made with spinach, banana, almond butter, and protein powder provides sustained energy without the sugar crash. Avoid rushing through your morning. Instead, treat it as sacred time to prepare yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally for the day ahead." 3. Staying consistent with your goals. Kong 450 to 502. Using accountability systems to track progress. One of the biggest challenges in building habits is staying consistent. Without accountability, it's easy to lose motivation or fall back into old patterns. That's why implementing accountability systems is crucial for long-term success. A simple yet effective method is tracking your progress. For example, if your goal is to exercise regularly, use a habit tracker app or a physical calendar to mark each day you complete your workout. Seeing your streak grow can be incredibly motivating. Another powerful tool is finding an accountability partner, someone who shares your goals or supports your journey. Whether it's a friend, family member, or coach, having someone to check in with keeps you accountable and provides encouragement when you feel discouraged. Rewarding yourself for milestones achieved. Rewards are a key component of habit formation. They reinforce positive behavior and make the process enjoyable. However, it's important to choose rewards that align with your values and don't undermine your progress. For instance, if your goal is to save money, reward yourself with a small treat like a movie night instead of splurging on something expensive. Similarly, if you're trying to eat healthier, celebrate milestones with non-food rewards, such as buying a new book or taking a relaxing bath. A great example of rewarding consistency comes from Jerry Seinfeld's "Don't Break the Chain" method. Each day he successfully wrote jokes, he marked his calendar with a red X. The visual representation of his progress became its own reward, motivating him to maintain the streak. Avoiding burnout by building sustainable habits. While consistency is essential, pushing too hard too fast can lead to burnout. Instead, focus on building sustainable habits that fit naturally into your lifestyle. Start small and gradually increase the intensity or frequency of your actions. For example, if you want to start running, begin with just 5 minutes a day. Once that feels manageable, increase to 10 minutes, then 15, and so on. This approach prevents overwhelm and ensures long-term adherence. Remember, perfection isn't the goal, progress is. As James Clear explains, you do not need to be perfect to make progress. You just need to show up consistently. 4. A short, inspiring story, The Power of Tiny Habits. Let me share the story of Matt Cutts, a former Google engineer, who transformed his life through tiny habits. In 2009, Matt decided to take on a simple challenge: try something new for 30 days. Each month, he committed to a small, achievable goal, such as biking to work, writing a novel, or learning to play the guitar. At first, these changes seemed minor, but over time, they added up. By sticking to his 30-day challenges, Matt developed healthier habits, gained new skills, and even lost weight. Most importantly, he discovered the power of incremental change. Matt's experiment inspired countless others to adopt the 30-day challenge mindset. His story reminds us that big transformations often begin with small steps. As Lao Tzu wisely said, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." This principle applies to mastering your habits and daily routine. Don't aim for overnight perfection, focus on making gradual improvements. Over time, these tiny habits will compound into remarkable results. 5. Recap and transition to the next chapter. In this chapter, we've explored the science of habits and how to harness their power to create lasting change. We've discussed practical strategies for designing an effective morning routine, staying consistent with your goals, and avoiding burnout. Finally, we learn the importance of celebrating small wins and embracing incremental progress. Remember, habits are the foundation of self-mastery. By mastering your daily routine, you take control of your time, energy, and focus. As you continue to refine your habits, you'll notice profound improvements in all areas of your life. In the next chapter, we'll dive into unlocking your potential through a growth mindset. You'll discover how to embrace challenges, seek feedback, and continuously improve. Stay tuned, because the journey to mastering yourself continues. Chapter 4: Unlocking Your Potential Through Growth Mindset. True success begins with the right mindset. In this chapter, we'll explore how adopting a growth mindset can unlock your potential and empower you to achieve extraordinary results. A growth mindset is more than just positive thinking. It's the belief that abilities can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. As Carol Dweck, the psychologist who coined the term, explains, becoming is better than being. Let's dive into the differences between fixed and growth mindsets, practical strategies for cultivating a growth-oriented perspective, and how to celebrate progress over perfection. 1. Fixed versus growth mindset. The limitations of a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset assumes that your talents and intelligence are static traits. You're either born with them or you're not. This belief often leads to fear of failure, avoidance of challenges, and a tendency to give up when things get tough. For example, someone with a fixed mindset might say, "I'm just not good at math," and avoid taking on tasks that involve numbers. By labeling themselves as not good, they close the door to learning and improvement. This mindset is particularly dangerous because it limits your potential. When you believe your abilities are fixed, you stop trying to grow, and as a result, you miss out on opportunities for development. The power of a growth mindset. In contrast, a growth mindset embraces effort and learning. It views challenges as opportunities to grow, setbacks as lessons, and feedback as a tool for improvement. Take the example of Michael Phelps, one of the most decorated Olympians in history. Despite being diagnosed with ADHD as a child, he didn't let his condition define him. Instead, he channeled his energy into swimming, practicing relentlessly and seeking ways to improve. His growth mindset allowed him to turn perceived weaknesses into strengths. With a growth mindset, you understand that talent is just the starting point. Success comes from consistent effort, deliberate practice, and a willingness to learn from mistakes. 2. Practical ways to cultivate growth. Seeking feedback and constructive criticism. One of the hallmarks of a growth mindset is the willingness to seek feedback. Constructive criticism provides valuable insights into areas where you can improve. For instance, if you're working on a project, ask colleagues or mentors for their input. Instead of viewing their comments as personal attacks, see them as opportunities to refine your work. A great example of embracing feedback comes from Steve Jobs. Early in his career, he faced criticism for his management style and decision-making. Rather than ignoring the feedback, he used it to evolve into a more effective leader. This openness to growth ultimately shaped Apple into the innovative powerhouse it is today. To cultivate this habit, frame feedback as a gift rather than a threat. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Over time, you'll develop a mindset that thrives on continuous improvement. Stepping out of your comfort zone regularly. Growth happens outside your comfort zone. To cultivate a growth mindset, challenge yourself to try new things, take risks, and embrace discomfort. For example, if public speaking makes you nervous, volunteer to give a presentation at work or join a local Toastmasters club. The more you expose yourself to uncomfortable situations, the more confident and capable you become. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling, who stepped far outside her comfort zone when she submitted her manuscript for Harry Potter to multiple publishers. Despite facing rejection after rejection, she persisted until one publisher took a chance on her. Her courage to keep going despite fear and uncertainty exemplifies the power of stepping out of your comfort zone. 3. Celebrating progress over perfection. Focusing on incremental improvements. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. When you focus too much on achieving perfection, you risk becoming paralyzed by fear of failure. Instead, celebrate small wins along the way. For example, if you're learning a new language, don't wait until you're fluent to feel proud of your progress. Celebrate milestones like mastering basic phrases, holding short conversations, or understanding a song in that language. Research shows that focusing on incremental improvements boosts motivation and reduces anxiety. Each small step forward reinforces your belief in your ability to grow. Avoiding comparison traps and staying authentic. Social media often fuels comparison traps, making it easy to measure your progress against others. But remember, everyone's journey is unique. Comparing yourself to others only distracts you from your own growth. Instead of comparing, focus on staying authentic to your values and goals. For instance, if your goal is to build a healthier lifestyle, don't worry about how quickly someone else is losing weight. Focus on what works best for you and trust the process. As Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." Stay true to your path, and you'll find fulfillment in your progress, no matter how small it may seem. 4. Celebrating small wins. The importance of acknowledging progress. One of the most overlooked aspects of personal growth is celebrating small wins. When you acknowledge your progress, no matter how minor it may seem, you reinforce positive behavior and build momentum. For example, if you're working on building a consistent writing habit, celebrate completing your first 100 words. If you're learning to play an instrument, celebrate mastering your first song. These small victories remind you that growth is happening, even when it feels slow or invisible. Research shows that celebrating small wins activates the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine, a chemical associated with motivation and pleasure. This creates a positive feedback loop, encouraging you to keep going. How to celebrate effectively. To make celebrations meaningful, align them with your values and goals. For instance, if your goal is to live a healthier lifestyle, reward yourself with a relaxing yoga session or a new workout outfit instead of indulging in unhealthy treats. Another effective way to celebrate is by reflecting on your journey. Take a moment to write down what you've accomplished and how far you've come. This practice not only boosts confidence but also provides clarity on your next steps. 5. A short, inspiring story, the journey of Sarah Blakely. Let me share the story of Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, who transformed her life through a growth mindset. Before becoming one of the world's youngest self-made billionaires, Sarah faced countless rejections and setbacks. When she first pitched her idea for footless pantyhose, manufacturers dismissed her concept as impractical. But Sarah didn't give up. She embraced feedback, refined her product, and persisted until she found a manufacturer willing to take a chance on her. What's remarkable about Sarah's journey is her attitude toward failure. She credits her father for teaching her to view mistakes as opportunities to learn. Every night at dinner he would ask, "What did you fail at today?" This simple question reframed failure as a necessary part of growth rather than something to fear. Sarah's story reminds us that success doesn't come from avoiding failure. It comes from embracing it, learning from it, and continuing to move forward. As she once said, "Don't be afraid to fail. It's the only way you'll ever truly succeed." 6. Recap and transition to the next chapter. In this chapter, we've explored the transformative power of a growth mindset. We've discussed how to shift from a fixed mindset to a growth-oriented perspective, practical strategies for seeking feedback and stepping out of your comfort zone, and the importance of celebrating progress over perfection. Remember, adopting a growth mindset is a lifelong journey. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to embrace challenges. But the rewards are worth it: greater resilience, improved confidence, and the ability to unlock your full potential. In the next chapter, we'll dive into creating balance and finding fulfillment. You'll discover how to prioritize what matters most, nurture meaningful relationships, and practice gratitude to cultivate lasting happiness. Stay tuned, because the journey to mastering yourself continues. Chapter 5: Creating Balance and Finding Fulfillment. True success isn't just about achievements, it's also about finding balance and meaning in your life. In this chapter, we'll explore how to align your actions with your values, prioritize what truly matters, and create a fulfilling life. Balance doesn't mean doing everything equally. It means focusing on what brings you joy, purpose, and peace. As Stephen Covey, author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said, "The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule but to schedule your priorities." Let's dive into practical strategies for creating balance, nurturing meaningful relationships, and practicing gratitude to cultivate lasting happiness. 1. Prioritizing what matters most. Identifying your core values and purpose. The first step in creating balance is understanding what truly matters to you. Your core values are the guiding principles that shape your decisions and actions. When you live in alignment with these values, you experience a deeper sense of fulfillment. To identify your core values, ask yourself, what activities make me feel most alive and energized? What qualities do I admire most in others, and why? If I had 1 year left to live, how would I spend my time? For example, if family is one of your core values, ensure you're dedicating quality time to nurture those relationships. If creativity is important, carve out space in your schedule to engage in artistic pursuits. A powerful story that illustrates this principle comes from Arianna Huffington, founder of the Huffington Post. After collapsing from exhaustion due to overwork, she realized she needed to reprioritize her life. She shifted her focus to well-being, mindfulness, and spending time with loved ones. This transformation not only improved her health but also inspired her to write Thrive, a book about redefining success. Saying no to distractions that don't serve your goals. Once you've identified your priorities, it's crucial to say no to distractions that pull you away from them. Saying yes to everything often leads to burnout and a lack of focus. Warren Buffett once said, "The difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything." This wisdom highlights the importance of protecting your time and energy. To practice saying no, start by evaluating each request or opportunity against your core values. Ask yourself, does this align with my priorities? Will it bring me closer to my goals? If the answer is no, politely decline. For instance, if your goal is to spend more time with your family, avoid overcommitting to work projects that encroach on your personal time. Setting boundaries ensures you have the energy and focus to invest in what truly matters. 2. Balancing work, health, and relationships. Setting boundaries to protect your time and energy. One of the biggest challenges in achieving balance is managing competing demands. To prevent work from consuming your life, set clear boundaries. For example, designate specific hours for work and stick to them. Avoid checking emails or taking calls outside those times. A great example of boundary setting comes from Sheryl Sandberg, CEO of Meta, formerly Facebook. Despite her demanding role, she makes it a priority to leave the office at 5:30 p.m. to have dinner with her family. By setting this boundary, she ensures she has time to recharge and connect with loved ones. To implement this in your own life, communicate your boundaries clearly to colleagues, friends, and family. For instance, let your team know you won't respond to non-urgent emails after a certain hour. Over time, they'll respect your limits, and you'll create space for other priorities. Nurturing meaningful connections with loved ones. Relationships are a cornerstone of a balanced and fulfilling life. Yet, in our fast-paced world, it's easy to neglect the people who matter most. To nurture meaningful connections, dedicate regular time to spend with loved ones without distractions. For example, schedule weekly family dinners or monthly catch-ups with close friends. During these moments, put away your phone and be fully present. Listening attentively and showing genuine interest strengthens bonds and fosters deeper connections. Research shows that strong social connections improve mental health, increase happiness, and even extend lifespan. As Maya Angelou wisely said, "I sustain myself with the love of family and friends." Prioritizing relationships is an investment in your well-being. Prioritizing physical and mental health. Your health is the foundation of everything else in your life. Without it, achieving balance becomes nearly impossible. To maintain physical health, incorporate regular exercise, nutritious meals, and adequate sleep into your routine. For mental health, practice mindfulness techniques like meditation or deep breathing. These practices reduce stress, improve focus, and enhance emotional regulation. Apps like Calm or Insight Timer can guide you through short mindfulness exercises. Consider the story of LeBron James, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Despite his demanding career, he prioritizes sleep, nutrition, and recovery to perform at his best. His commitment to self-care demonstrates that even the busiest individuals can find time for their well-being. 3. Practicing gratitude and contentment. Shifting focus from lack to abundance. Gratitude is a powerful tool for creating balance and finding fulfillment. When you focus on what you lack, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and dissatisfied. But when you shift your attention to what you already have, you cultivate a sense of abundance and contentment. Research shows that practicing gratitude improves mental health, reduces stress, and increases happiness. A simple way to incorporate gratitude into your daily routine is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you're thankful for. They can be big or small, anything from a supportive friend to a beautiful sunset. For example, Oprah Winfrey attributes much of her success to her daily gratitude practice. She says, "Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough." By focusing on abundance, she transformed challenges into opportunities and built a life filled with purpose. Appreciating small joys in everyday life. Happiness often lies in the small, everyday moments, sharing laughter with a loved one, savoring a warm cup of coffee, or enjoying a quiet walk in nature. Unfortunately, we often overlook these joys because we're too busy chasing bigger goals. To appreciate the small things, practice mindfulness. Pay attention to the sights, sounds, and sensations around you. For instance, when eating a meal, take time to savor each bite instead of rushing through it. This simple act transforms an ordinary experience into something extraordinary. A great story that illustrates this principle comes from the life of Helen Keller. Despite being blind and deaf, she found joy in the simplest experiences: a gentle breeze, the warmth of sunlight, or the touch of a loved one's hand. Her ability to appreciate life's small wonders reminds us that fulfillment doesn't come from external achievements, but from how we perceive and cherish the present moment. 4. A short, inspiring story: the power of gratitude. Let me share the story of John Kralik, a lawyer who turned his life around through gratitude. At a low point in his life, facing financial struggles, a failing marriage, and poor health, John decided to write one thank you note every day for a year. At first, he struggled to find people to thank. But as he continued, he noticed subtle yet profound changes. Writing thank you notes helped him reconnect with friends, mend broken relationships, and appreciate the kindness of others. By the end of the year, not only had his outlook on life improved, but his circumstances began to change as well. He repaired his relationships, regained his health, and even achieved professional success. John's story teaches us that gratitude isn't just about feeling good, it's about taking action. By expressing appreciation, we create positive ripples that transform our lives and the lives of those around us. 5. Recap and transition to the next chapter. In this chapter, we've explored how to create balance and find fulfillment by prioritizing what matters most, setting boundaries, nurturing relationships, and practicing gratitude. These strategies empower you to live intentionally, align your actions with your values, and cultivate lasting happiness. Remember, balance isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about making conscious choices that honor your well-being, relationships, and purpose. As you continue to implement these practices, you'll discover a deeper sense of peace and satisfaction in all areas of your life. In the next chapter, we'll summarize the key lessons from this audiobook and encourage you to take action. You'll leave with actionable steps to apply these principles and embark on your journey towards self-mastery. Stay tuned, because the wisdom journey continues. Audiobook conclusion. Throughout this audiobook, we've explored the transformative journey of self-mastery and how it empowers you to take control of your life. Let's recap the key lessons. Understanding self-mastery. Self-mastery is about controlling your thoughts, emotions, and actions. It's built on 3 pillars: emotional regulation, discipline, and mindset. By mastering these areas, you gain clarity, confidence, and resilience. Overcoming challenges. Life is full of obstacles, but they don't have to define you. By reframing negative thoughts, breaking big problems into smaller steps, and learning from failures, you can turn setbacks into stepping stones for growth. Mastering habits and routine. Small, consistent actions compound over time to create profound change. Designing an effective morning routine and staying disciplined with your goals are essential for long-term success. Unlocking potential through growth mindset. A growth mindset allows you to embrace challenges, seek feedback, and focus on progress rather than perfection. It's the foundation of continuous improvement and personal development. Creating balance and fulfillment. True success isn't just about achievements, it's about finding balance and meaning in your life. Prioritize what matters most, nurture relationships, and practice gratitude to cultivate lasting happiness. These principles are not just theories, they're practical tools that you can apply immediately to transform your life. Now that you've gained valuable insights, the next step is action. Remember, knowledge without application is like a ship without a sail, it goes nowhere. Start small, stay consistent, and trust the process. Here are 3 actionable steps you can take today. 1. Identify one habit to build or improve, whether it's waking up earlier, exercising regularly, or practicing gratitude. Choose one habit that aligns with your goals and commit to it. 2. Set boundaries to protect your time. Say no to distractions and prioritize activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. 3. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge your progress, no matter how minor it may seem. Each step forward brings you closer to your dreams. As you implement these lessons, remember that transformation takes time. Be patient with yourself and celebrate every milestone along the way. Thank you for joining me on this wisdom journey. Your decision to invest time in personal growth shows your commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. I'm honored to have been part of your journey. If you found value in this audiobook, I'd love your support in spreading the message of self-mastery. Please like, share this video, and subscribe to Wisdom Audiobooks for more inspiring content. Together, let's continue growing and creating a better world, one listener at a time. Remember, the power to master your life lies within you. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, "The future depends on what you do today." So, take the first step today, and soon you'll look back to see how far you've come. Until next time, keep striving, keep growing, and keep mastering yourself. This is Wisdom Audiobooks signing off. Thank you, and take care.